Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do another dismal Disney video.
I know, we might as well just start doing a daily Disney video. I mean, it's coming to the point where there's something going on every day.
And I feel bad because, again, look, we like Disney. Believe it or not, we like Disney.
We do?
We do have a lot of friends who work in and around the Walt Disney Company.
Yep, we have annual passes.
We don't want them to be negatively affected, but look, Disney's gotten a little big for their britches. Mm-hmm. And, this is really interesting because this is kind of going along with stuff we've been saying for the last year or so. If you've been following the channel, that Disney is not in the greatest financial shape.
No.
Not in the shape that they'd like to pretend they are.
Mm-hmm. And they overspent on Fox, and they lost a lot of their liquidity by overspending on things.
Yeah, they had like $36 billion or something in the bank, and they took all that, and then they borrowed more to pay for Fox. So we're going to talk about this because this actually backs up that rumor that we were talking about last night, that Disney apparently has a plan in place just in case they can't open the theme parks until 2021. Now their stock is dropping because people are coming out and saying, hey, they might not open until next year. That's not our fault.
No.
They're not watching CLOWNFISH TV and coming up with that. These are insiders. These are investors who are watching things and being like, realistically, they might not open until next year.
So they're saying the same thing we're saying.
Yes.
I think they'll be open this year, if you were to ask me. Now, I want to put a caveat to that. I think some of the parks will be open. I don't necessarily think all of Walt Disney World will be open.
Yeah.
I think that I think Magic Kingdom will at least open before the end of the year, and you might get to Hollywood and Animal Kingdom, Epcot. I don't know. That one might not make it till next year. But I do think, I personally think they'll be open later this year. I don't think it'll go into next year. But Disney has the contingency plan that it'll go into next year. And if you watch our other video, the list of things that they plan on doing, that has something to do with it going into next year. That's their reopening suggestions, no matter when it reopens.
Yeah, that's their phase one. I forget what they call it off the top of my head, but Secure Circuit.
Yeah, Secure Circuit.
Where they're basically just going to open Magic Kingdom and the hotels around Magic Kingdom, and there are going to be very, very strict procedures in place. Some of the rides might not be open. You're not going to be able to hug Mickey Mouse. People might be walking around wearing masks.
And that's going to happen no matter when it opens,
yeah.
Or some variation of it. That is the plan at the time the person put it up. That does not mean it hasn't changed. And things do change. If guidelines change, I expect that to reflect in their procedures they're going to come out with. So, of course, at this point in time, we don't know. That being said, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. We haven't said we did. But now the market analysts are worried about the exact same thing.
Weird how that works out, isn't it? Because I got to tell you, the insider we were talking about yesterday is a verified source. This person has been right more often than not.
Yeah.
WDW Magic is sort of a hot spot for Disney insiders. There are verified Disney current Disney employees, former Disney employees that have connections, and people that just know what's going on for whatever reason, and they tend to be right. Mm-hmm. This guy in particular tends to be right, WDW Pro, and now we have this analyst coming out and saying he's dropping the rating for Disney because his base case now assumes the company won't be able to reopen until January of next year.
On another article, they had even said, it goes right down here too. They said that they're worried that they won't be able to regain their recent operating cadence in 18 months, which coincides with the earliest expectations of a widely available vaccine for COVID-19, which is, I think he's dropping his rating because he doesn't think they're going to be back to full form for 18 months.
Yeah, I mean, again, even if they open, Disney is not going to open at full steam ahead.
No.
So the problem with this is, look, obviously you've got a lot of people that are out of work, and we're going to talk about that, but this is going to be devastating to the company. People keep thinking stupidly that Disney's going to open back up in another month or two, and everything's going to go back to exactly the way it was at the beginning of March, and that is not even possible.
No.
There are so many moving parts, and we knew this was going to be a long time thing because they were, laying people off. They had been there for decades, sending them home.
Right. Yeah, some of the the acts in Epcot, you
Yeah.
know, 25 years,
Yeah.
18, 15 years, and they were sending them home. Now, he's saying right now he thinks Disney is in the eye of the storm, in quotes, where it's calm right now, but he thinks it's going to have a lot more downturn. I think after the investor meeting, we're going to
Yes.
see some hits. That's what Kneon's waiting for.
I'm waiting for that. I think you're going to need the world's biggest bucket of popcorn for that, because they're going to try to make silk out of a sow's ear. And I mean, what can you say? What can you say to your investors? Hey guys, yeah, I know we don't have any revenue really coming in at this point, but Disney Plus has 50 million subs, even though we're still in the hole on that one. We don't know when we're going to have movies. We don't know when we can open the theme parks. We don't know when sports are going to resume. We
Yeah.
have no idea.
And all of that ties into this person's analyst. The reason he downgraded it, because they said the park segment, which was their biggest thing, and then they said he also mentioned sports, and he mentioned like the movies and stuff like that. So same things we've been saying.
Yeah. So again, I do believe this insider is legit. For it to be affecting stocks like this, and we're gonna see after this investor call, because they're not gonna have any magical answers for investors. We're gonna see it drop. I'm still thinking it might bottom out like 75
What
bucks
can
a
the
share.
investors say, honestly? Because that's the other thing we're going to talk about. Investors are still getting their money anyway.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So while this is going on, there's been a lot of criticism of how Disney is handling all of this situation, because they're furloughing their employees. They're saving themselves $500 million a month.
Right.
By laying their employees off.
And they're telling the employees to go get unemployment benefits and the $600 federal stimulus that taxpayers are paying for.
Right, we're going to talk about that, but the bosses are still getting stock bonuses. So remember when they made such a big deal about the executives getting a pay cut, and golly, how nice of them. That is a small fraction of their total compensation. Actually, most of their money comes from stock bonuses.
Yeah, the bigger ones. The regular vice presidents and some of those people that took like a smaller cut, I don't think they get the stocks like the executive ones.
Any named executive officer, as I understand it, gets stock bonuses. So here's the thing. This is what people are calling them out for. They're like, wait a second, guys. You're saving $500 million a month on employees. You're pushing the employees off onto taxpayers, basically. You're banking on the employees taking the bailout. But then you're going to have $1.5 billion in dividends that you're going to dole out. Why don't you take some of that money and just pay the employees for another month or two?
Right.
The long answer, or the short answer, depending on how you look at it, might be that Disney knows they're going to be down a hell of a lot longer than they're telling people.
Probably.
So it's not going to do much good to pay people, whether you're paying for another month or two, when you're going to be down
Well, it still
for
does them good. It doesn't do Disney, the company.
It doesn't do Disney
the
good.
shareholders any good.
Right.
With getting money.
So they're calling out, Financial Times is actually calling them out and saying, hey, you're saving lots of money, but it's kind of a shitty look. I mean, the fact that they paid everybody, I guess, through April 19th is pretty good. The fact that they can keep their health insurance is good, but they're like, you could have done better, you're freaking Disney. Again, this shows that Disney is not quite the company that people thinks Disney is.
I don't think this is Disney. I think in general, and I've seen this, I'd say, in the last like 20, 25 years, that companies more and more are they whatever they can do to make more money for the shareholders.
Yeah.
Like we've seen people like take jobs and consolidate jobs and fire people and then make people get paid less to do more so that the shareholders have record profits every year. This is an ongoing problem. We've been seeing it for years. Disney's just one of the companies of many that now it's about the shareholders, not about everybody who works there.
Yeah, and that's the major difference. That's when we complain about the Walt Disney Company. We complain about how they are current year compared to how they were even 10, 15 years ago. That's what we're complaining about, because it used to be more of a family environment. Not just family in terms of like the entertainment, but family in terms of the people who work there. It was more, of a family relationship. So even people that, worked with Disney in the past, people who worked with Walt, people who worked at the parks, at the beginning, even people who were working at Disney 10 or 15 years ago, there was a difference then compared to Disney now. Disney now is the Borg.
Yeah, no, it's true, but I don't think it's just, like I said, I don't think it's just Disney though.
It's not just Disney.
With a lot of companies, especially after the last recession, that they would say, oh, because of the recession, we have to consolidate jobs and lay people off and everything else. And all they did was take the jobs, dump them on other employees they kept, give them pay cuts saying they're lucky to have a job, and then they reported record profits. And that's, and Disney's just another one who's going to use record profits at the expense of their people.
Well, they have to make these shareholders happy, because what else are they going to do? I mean, they're completely screwed.
But all it does is like widen the gap between the haves and have-nots.
And are these people going to come back if they feel that they were not being treated, with respect? Are they going to come back? Because at this point, you're going to have other businesses open before the parks open, and these people might just be like, I'm not going back to Disney. Because
we were hearing from some people that might be the case, that there might be people that don't come back.
Yeah, or we're going to go work for their competitor just out of spite. I mean, a lot of things could happen. A lot of people, they might have just quit, and maybe they'll go work for like a grocery store or something. They can still work, or, other essential businesses, people might have just moved on. I mean, because if you're sitting there waiting for Disney to hire you back or to fire up again, it could be a while. I mean, we don't know. I mean, how loyal, I guess my feeling in this situation is, how loyal are you? Are you going to sit there for months, hoping that Disney is going to
a lot of them will
bring you back? A lot of them will.
They said, their friends are there, and it is still family. I'm just saying, this is just another example of corporate shareholders trumping everyone else.
Right. Shareholders trumping everyone else, not talking about Trump.
Oh no!
We're waiting for people to be like,
can't even use the term
"Oh my
Trump
God,
anymore."
You said the T word."
Oh, I didn't mean it that way.
So yeah, he got $100 million in stock. Bob Iger in 2017. Iger's not the only one with Disney shares. Other named executives are also entitled to annual equity bonuses, despite taking the pay cut that many still complained about. Yeah, they're like, oh my God, 15-20%. Oh, but they're still gonna get.
Well, executive ones went like 25-30, but still, they're getting their shit. They're getting their stocks awards.
Yeah. So here from the named executive officers, based on award value, 30% performance-based restricted stock units, 30% time-vested restricted stock units, 40% stock options. Disney rewards top executives based on the price of Disney stock.
Which is why, guys, I keep saying they'll do whatever they can to mitigate stock damages. If stocks are already plummeting, they're going to announce bad news then, so it has time to bounce back. This is why.
So look at what they've done since this disaster has happened. They trickle out a little bit of hope, a little bit of good news. Hey, look, our subscribers are up on Disney Plus. Oh, look, we might possibly maybe be able to open on June 1st. They're not going to rip the Band-Aid off, because they ripped the Band-Aid off, all the guts are going to spill out at once.
I honestly was surprised they said the parks were closed until further notice. I honestly thought they kept milking it for like a month here, a month there. I was surprised. They are milking it with the cruise and with Adventures by Disney, which, by the way, Adventures by Disney just canceled a whole crap ton of itineraries up till June 30th.
I mean, personally, again, this isn't to be a dick. This isn't, Schadenfreude or whatever. But I would say at this point, for 2020, Disney is canceled. Just I wouldn't even personally, I wouldn't even plan a trip this year.
No, I wouldn't either.
Because I'm like,
if you're local and you have an annual pass,
yeah, if you're
fine.
Local, you're fine.
Or you live close by and it's like, you can drive down. It's not that far. And you aren't going to be out a whole lot of money. Then by all means, you still could probably do it. But people that are planning big trips where you have to stay in the hotels and all the expenses there, you're probably better just to wait.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same. You're not going to get, and that's what people are talking about now. They're like, well, what are they going to charge? When they come back online, if it's just Magic Kingdom and they don't have shows and they don't have meet and greets.
Who's going to do a whole trip just to go to Magic Kingdom?
With a mask on.
But here's the thing. People are still booking these trips not knowing that. Yeah. So it could be that, okay, we're opening up these days, and then are they going to tell people then, oh, by the way, it might only be Magic Kingdom that's open. They know if they do that, they're going to lose all these bookings, but they can't not tell people because people are going to be coming expecting to go to all the parks. I don't know. I mean, we don't know.
I think part of it is, they don't want a bank run either, because what could potentially happen if it got out?
Everybody pulls their trip.
Everybody pulls their trips because a lot of people are paying on their trips. They give their deposit and they're paying on it to their travel agent or to Disney or whatever. And if they are just canceling trips, Disney's got to give all that money back. If they can keep the ball in the air, You know, like volleyball, keep it from touching the ground and just keep dragging this out, you know, month after month and keep people booked and be like, oh, well, push it back to October now. Push it back to January of next year. You know, that way they keep the ball in the air, they keep the money in the coffers, and God knows they need every cent they can get at this point. So this isn't the first time. You know, we talked about Abigail Disney calling out the business.
Oh yeah, she's called them out many times.
Many times. Now Abigail is pretty far left. I think. I don't think she's very capitalistic. But you know, she does have a lot of money because you know she is a Disney heiress. She's got lots of stock. But it is weird. I will say it's very weird that they don't have a Disney on the board at all now.
Yeah.
And I think that might actually, because the last time I can remember things being what I consider kind of like the big family was when Roy was still on the board. And then there was friction there with Eisner and all that junk. And then it just kind of, you know, ever since Iger came in, they became just like every other corporation.
Yeah.
They just have better PR, you know. But yeah, it's so weird. People are out there today talking about, don't listen to all these scammy websites.
Oh yes, I love that. From a place which I wouldn't trust no matter what. And it was funny because the people that are screaming the most about this is from a site that's run by a travel agent. Who are you gonna believe? People who have no dog in the fight, or the place that's run by a travel agency afraid they're gonna lose all their bookings. You know, I'm just saying. And also, you know, about that one too, is that these people are, I have a contact directly from Disney. So do we. We have contacts from Disney too. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Disney's got quite the PR machine, and they're not going to rip the Band-Aid off. They're not going to give people bad news. They're not going to tell travel agencies. Well,
they're not going to tell anybody a date because they don't know.
They don't know. At the end of
the day, they don't know any more than we do. These are contingency plans because, you know, like any good business, if this happens, we need a plan for this. If this happens, we need a plan for that. I'm sure that what we posted was one plan of many, depending on when they would reopen. It's not unusual. I think that they're still going to do a lot of those, those measures like reduced crowd capacity, hand sanitization, temperature taking, all that, no matter when they open. But Disney's not going to tell you because they honestly don't know. Yeah. They're not going to. They want to make sure that their announcements they get it open as soon as they can, so they can get their stocks back up.
Yeah. And that's what this is about, is keeping that stock price up, at least past this next earnings call, I think.
Yeah, the earnings call is going to be.
And I think it's going to drop off a freaking cliff, because I think they're going to be like, hey, so when's your plan on reopening?
Or it could go the other way. They might have some more information by then, and it could raise it.
I think they would have leaked it by now, just to try to save face. I don't know. I think it's just that's just a personal opinion. I don't know. But, you know, there were some other questions asked. The New York Times ran an article over the weekend saying that taxpayers should not bail out Disney. They said that they were kind of disgusted that Disney was pushing their employees off onto unemployment, and the reason that they're basically telling their employees, hey, don't worry about it, the government's got your back. And they're doing the same thing themselves. They've got their hands out right now looking for a bailout for the travel industry.
My thing is, you know, their government's doing all this stuff, but it has to be paid back at some point. You know, it's not an inevitable thing. It's going to eventually need to be paid back. And I wonder how that's going to play moving forward with companies, you know, companies getting bailouts too. Well,
they're talking about how Disney is one of the most, the biggest offender of self-enriching practices, what they call it, stock buybacks. Again, just another pattern of them putting shareholders.
It's like, color me surprised.
Yeah, and Disney is look at all these travel sites. You know, Disney is over Booking.com, Marriott, American, Delta, all the airlines. And they've got their hands out just like everybody else. And the New York Times is even like, let Disney fall on their ass. They're the ones who got greedy. And they can deal with the consequences of that.
Right. So just so people understand what you mean by buybacks is that basically they get money, and then instead of using it for like what they're getting the money for, like, you know, to help their cast members or whatever, or their employees, they oftentimes buy back their stocks.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what they've been doing. And, you know, it's been, Disney's had huge success with their stock over the last couple of years, but they've basically wiped out all of their gains, I think it's the last 5 or 6 years now. So all of those billion-dollar Marvel movies that they've been bragging about, and those record-breaking, box office hits, and the huge hit that was Galaxy's Edge, all of that.
Huge hit. Which one's how you mean hit? Do you mean hit like success, or hit like a hit to your bottom line?
Did I say hit or shit? I don't know. All of that means nothing because all the gains have been wiped out. So I think we're gonna see the veil get dropped in the next couple of months here. Again, this isn't to make fun of the people working there. Absolutely not.
No, this isn't fair to the people working there.
It's not fair to the people working there, but I can tell you that Disney is not quite the company that they pretend to be. That there is a lot of, I don't know, a little bit of a shell game, some smoke and mirrors going on.
It always reminds me of those people like the self-help gurus that they only shell out positivity, so you buy their book and you bring them in, you pay for them to be there. Like, gosh darn it, look in the mirror, everybody loves you, tell yourself, I'm great, I'm wonderful, magic, happiness. And, but that's what the front is, but the backside, when you get them backstage, you're like, oh, these morons. I'm not saying they're that bad, but that's kind of what it reminds me of, is these positive people, because they know people give you money.
Yeah.
And then, they're like, laughing about it behind your back. That's kind of what I'm, only in the last few years though.
Yeah, it's Disney is basically selling a feeling. I mean, look at their marketing.
That's exactly it. They're selling a feeling.
They're selling a feeling. They're charging you a premium to, you look at the commercials and it's all about like, your children are growing up very quickly. Gosh, it sure would be a shame if you didn't spend time with your kids.
Time.
Yeah, waiting in line for 2 hours to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, hopefully if it doesn't break down, and spending $5,000 to $10,000 with us, because you only have them as kids once. I mean, that literally is the
literally have a
marketing.
commercial like that. And they don't say about the money, but
yeah, but they do. They're like,
it's never been more affordable.
Well, they haven't been doing that so much. Now they're like, it's your exclusive magic, and you see like a little girl run up to hug Mickey in front of the castle, and there's nobody else in the park.
That does not happen.
That will never happen. Not even that mythical morning magic Mickey time.
But I'll tell you what, the only time that could possibly happen is like when there's a hurricane coming and everybody runs away and doesn't want to be at Disney because they're afraid of the hurricane. You might get that, maybe. When
they open a new ride in another park. Sometimes they'll clear out Magic Kingdom. No,
Magic Kingdom never. I hate
Magic Kingdom. I gotta tell you, I do. Like, I love Disney World, but of all the parks, Magic Kingdom is actually my least favorite now because it's the hardest to navigate.
You can't even walk, especially if you're coming through Fantasyland down into like Liberty Square and it's bottlenecked there, and you have you cannot get through.
Yeah.
You're trying to walk around by the carousel and be our guest. No, you just can't. It's just awful. And then strollers. Don't even get me started.
That's even with the hub being bigger now. It's crazy. So anyway, guys, it's not just us. It's going to be a really interesting quarterly earnings call. I think it's May 12th. And expect a lot of bullshit. Expect a lot of dodging. Expect a lot of non-answers. And don't expect Bob Chapek to say much of anything. It's going to be all Bob Iger.
Well, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
That will be interesting to see if it's Iger or Chapek who talks. But I bet it's Iger.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up?
Yep.
Okay, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, rants, and daily doses of dismal Disney.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.